Let me do a quick demo for 2.7.2. This is part of our activity 2.7, where you're going to take some data and draw it to make a topo plan, topo map. So wherever you get the data from, I'm in VMware here, and I've got it out of the instructor file, or you can get it off of the assignment guide, or you can look around in the resource files. But here we go. So I've got it. Now I've got it as an Excel. You can upload this into Google and it's easy to see. But first of all, highlight all these and get rid of the stupid marks. Convert those all to numbers. There we go. So now those are all numbers, and that's fine. And let's make this big enough so that you can see it. If you don't like that font, it is a little bit hard to read. Calibri works really well. There we go. Now I've got something that's easier to read. And you can see this is a bunch of survey lines, length, angle, and this is elevation. NZ is elevation. So I've got a bunch of things to draw, and now I can show the elevation. So let's see how that's going to look. Here I've got, here it is. So I've gone ahead and drawn it. Here's all those lines drawn. And I found that it made another one of these wonderful rectangles. And I've put it into my B-size sheet. And once I've got it in there, I'm going to go ahead and freeze in this viewport my survey lines, because I'm interested in the topo lines. If I go paper to model, now I'm in model space, I can go to my layers and I can freeze in this viewport survey lines. And then I lock this. And I happen to be at a 1 to 20 right here. And I'll go back to my paper. So now what that does is it leaves it all here, but on my piece of paper, everything looks a little bit cleaner. Now, the other thing I've done is I've gone, and these should actually all be on the text layer. Sorry, I put those on the wrong layer. Should be on the text layer, and these should be on the text layer. And I just put them in, and I put my elevations in. So I know what my elevations. And then the trick is I want to draw topo lines. Lines that signify that every point on that line is the same elevation. So if I draw a line between a 4-inch elevation, 4-foot elevation point, and a 4-foot elevation point, that will be a topo line. And I'm doing these on the layer C Topo New. So here's a line, and it's from elevation 4 to elevation 4. Now, if there were more elevation 4s, I could hook them all up, but there aren't. And I see here an elevation 3 to an elevation 3, and those are called topo lines. And that's all we're going to do so far. There's a bunch more stuff to do before we've made a full, complete topo drawing. But this is plenty for right now. So put your elevation marker wherever you see that elevation. You know what they are. Oh, to find those, if I click on a line and type prop or properties, it tells me what the end Z is right there. So that way I know that that point is at 2 feet. Okay, and then maybe there's another one at 2 feet down here. There'll be one somewhere. What's that one at? That one's at 2 feet. Okay, and so this one's at 3 feet, and this one's at 3 feet. So don't go by exactly what I've got drawn here. I'm giving you an example. You have to go and find where they're actually at. on each different one. Okay, so there you go. That's how you do it. Draw your topo map. They all start at 0, 0. The data gives length and angle and end z. And that's how you can note what the elevation is. So for each one that you have drawn, length, the angle, and figure out what the end z is. Come over to here in paper space, we're putting the elevation marker, which shows the end z for that point. Okay, there you go. And then just draw in between them, not on the property lines, but in between. Okay, there you go. There's activity 2.7 7.1, 7.2, 7.3.